Hello folks, welcome to Sunday Stream. My name's Lee. How's your week been? I don't know what's going on. This time of year is normally the busiest year for me, the busiest time of the year for me. I'm normally not here for the last many years. I have been out going to or running an event, and last year I gave the event away to somebody else, and I decided I wasn't going to go this year because I needed time to myself to mentally heal and recover. I was going through a lot of stress. And so that's what I'm doing. And it feels a little weird to not be at the event and to hear reports trickle into me about what's going on at the event. It's fun, but I'm happy to not be there. So how's your week? Have you been doing anything exciting? I went to see Carrie the musical, based on the Stephen King novel, this weekend. It was great. The cast did such a good job. And as it turns out, the woman who played Carrie had been in another play I saw last year called Firebringer. Anyway, it was great. It was delightful. The whole thing was so much fun. I'm eating frozen strawberries, by the way. And I'm also really glad that I live in an area where there is a lot of, or a fair amount anyway, of community theater that I can go see. And I think it's fun. Yes, Carrie has a musical. If there's an opportunity to come see it near where you are, I suggest you do it. It was a good time. So, I thought the cast all did a really good job. There were some parts of it that were too loud for me, but I was also in the middle of a migraine, so that made it a little more challenging. It's sort of, I get those once in a while, and they are just no fun. So it was a little loud for me in a couple parts, but otherwise it was fabulous. It was so good. Every part was just done really, really nicely. So kudos to them. Had a good time. So today's group trance is going to be about attraction, and not the law of attraction, which I know a lot of people find themselves really intrigued by and interested in. I'm just going to adjust my seat because I am a little uncentered right now. The idea that we can get what we want, I think, is a really powerful one. And the idea that sometimes we stand in our way, or we block our own path, or we don't necessarily clearly understand what we need, I think, or what we really want, because we haven't clearly defined it, can be all challenges that people face. So today's session is going to be about that. If you have ideas about that, feel free to toss them in the chat. If there's something else that you would like to do today, let me know what those things are. Sometimes we have time for more than one thing. Sometimes we don't. I want to ask you about something else. So, every once in a while, I see, on social media, posted in random places, people posting things like, this 15-second hypnosis, these 15-second hypnosis affirmations will change your life, or will get rid of your headache, or will whatever the thing is. These things literally never work for me. They'll increase your confidence. I want to know if you've ever seen things like that, and if they have ever worked for you. Now, I'm a believer that hypnosis can allow you to do things quickly and powerfully. I absolutely am, right? I'm not sure that 15 seconds is enough. I think that 15 seconds of a thing, especially if you have done a session that allows you to like set certain things as a trigger, and then you say these things, and then you activate everything that's going on inside you, works really well. But I'm not sure if those things actually work. So if those things work for you, you have like, I don't know, 8 to 15 different sentences that you say to yourself, and you do it for 15 seconds, and then bam, you're done. How does that change your life for you? Does that make a huge difference in how you behave, act, or think? If it does, cool. Does it work without you having to do any additional pre-work? Does it just magically coalesce inside your brain and make everything all better? I'd like to know what your responses are to that kind of thing, because it doesn't work for me. And I definitely can be stubborn when it comes to accepting suggestions. I recognize that. But I also am pretty confident in the things that I want to do. I feel like I can mostly get them done. Always in exactly the way that I envisioned the first time? No. But get them done, sure. So, binaural beats are definitely a fascinating thing. They work by giving 2 different hertz beats inside your inside each ear that are slightly different, and then inside your brain they come together because they're usually about 10 hertz off from one another, and so they come together to form one, and so your brain sort of agrees on that particular setting, and that particular setting that your brain agrees on has been accepted to be good for studying, for example, as you mentioned, or relaxing, or feeling like you're in a drug state, or whatever else. So they can be pretty cool, I think. And I think they can also help you really focus on something too when you do that. So they don't work on me. If I want to change something, it's something that needs more inner work than that. Yeah. Personally, I agree with that, but I don't want to, I'm not necessarily out here trying to only have an echo chamber, but I would like other people's opinions if they have something different to say. Every time, so I set up this space, and I set it up ahead of time because it gets pretty warm in here. So I set it up ahead of time with a lot of ice, and there's a vent tube up there that I set up ahead of time that blows in, and so I put an ice pack up there to blow the cold air or the air over the ice pack to make it like a little bit air conditioned. And the ice pack just fell So I just heard this crash. It's a very DIY solution oriented system going on right now. So this is my round ice pack that gets shoved into the hole that had enough of staying where it was. So, okay, cool. All right. I thought I'd wear my Got Hypnosis shirt today. I thought it was fun. I haven't worn it in a while. It's probably one of the most ordinary shirts that I wear, and I really like it. Yeah. So I still have all my shinies with me. I might put some more on just as we go along, but feel free to remark if my eating bothers you. Please let me know. I'm kind of noshy today. I don't know why or how that happens, but some days I'm just like starving. I want all the food all the time. So I'm going to go back to talk about this attraction hypnosis that I was talking about earlier. And what I would like to do today is to do a session with you all that allows you to find yourself thinking about unconsciously the things that you would like to have more of in your life, whatever those things are, and to find ways to have these things be in your life in the most healthy way possible, and to have your unconscious mind think about what your obstacles to those things are. And those obstacles could be like a social objection. And so let me talk about this for a second. So when NLPers talk about, say, for example, helping somebody quit smoking, they usually want to make sure it's ecological. And what that means is that the actions that you take fit into your lifestyle so that you can actually accomplish these things. So, for example, if you have, if you're a smoker and all of your social interactions happen around smoking or through smoking, you know, like you go outside at work to smoke, or everyone that you hang out with smokes, and you not smoking might cause some internal challenges to that. You know, you have to find new ways to be able to not smoke and still be around that, or still be okay with that, or help your friends to quit, or find other places that you can socialize, or find new friends. So it, like, you know, that's the sort of dilemma sometimes that people have when they make choices that are different than the choices that they've made. And so when we find ourselves wanting to attract something new to our lifestyle, to our life, we have to decide, how does this fit in with the lifestyle we have, and how might this change our lifestyle? And is this a positive change for us overall? Are we going to lose something? Are we going to lose something that we will never get back, that it's going to hurt us? Or are we going to let go of something that we're okay with letting go of, that we didn't really need, that was hurting us in some way, etc.? So you have to find yourself having these internal conversations about what's okay for your brain, what isn't okay for your brain, and how can you still find a way to say, well, you know, I don't want to smoke anymore. I want to have better health. I want to not spend that money on cigarettes. I want to, you know, find a way that I can climb up, I don't know, the stairs at work without having to take the elevator, which sometimes dies, and not be like out of breath halfway through, these types of things. So like whatever it is that you want to find yourself attracted to, whether it's a venture, whether it's money, whether it's different types of people, whether it's different types of activities, your brain is going to think about the objections that you currently might have to making those choices readily available for you to take action on. And also, sometimes there are risks involved, right? So it's not necessarily that you just have objections, but there are literal risks that might be involved in something. So for example, if you decided that you wanted to start a business, very reasonable thing that a lot of people think about on a regular basis, and you have a full-time job, you might not necessarily want to quit a full-time job with a paycheck, steady hours, benefits, and go to starting a business where you have to outlay cash, where you don't have income coming in, where you don't have benefits, without examining some of those risks. You want to make sure that you're taking a look at what those things are that are important to you. Is there some overlap where you can start the new business while you're still working at your job? Things like that, right? So that type of thing where you do a risk assessment and you decide if there's a time for overlap, if there's a time for, no, I've saved up enough money for my job. I've examined what the risks are. I've examined how soon I think I can actually make money. I've examined what it's going to take for me to get my first clients, to get some money coming in. I know that I can, maybe your partner or your spouse already has health insurance or other benefits that supplement things that you would be losing from your job. That's the sort of thing you just find yourself thinking about. You've already done, say, information gathering into competitors, into the market, things like that. Anyway, I don't want to delve too deeply into that because some of that is an internal exploration. But those are just the type of things that your brain can find itself paying attention to. So like when people find themselves thinking about the law of attraction, right, they usually find themselves thinking about money. And like, well, I just wanted to attract money and I just got this check that came in the mail for $10,000. Cool, that's certainly a possibility, right? I'm not saying we're rearranging the nature of physics to funnel money to you, but I am saying that it's possible to align the way that we find ourselves thinking about opportunity, to find ourselves thinking about risk, to find ourselves thinking about how we're going to be impacted by certain things, to allow us to be open to the possibilities when they present themselves to us. Sometimes I have come across a lot of people who have an opportunity presented to them, and their first and immediate thought is, no, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And they like have a big wall that goes up that prevents them from looking into anything further. Whether or not it is an actual opportunity or a scam opportunity. And sometimes people that are scammers are very persistent and very clever in ways that emotionally get to us, right? Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm looking for a job. I need this job. This job opportunity came in. I have to send them money to get this XYZ. If most of the time, if you look on a forum, people would be like, do not send any money for anything, for any job. If it is a legit job, they will send you things at no cost to you. No, don't respond to that prince promising a big check. It's probably a bad idea. Probably. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm just saying it seems suspicious. I once had an apartment that I was looking to rent, and somebody was like, "Oh, I'd like to move an employee in there. I'm going to send a check for them, for the first last security. I'm going to include a little bit of extra money for furniture for them. So can you like cash the check and then that extra, I don't even know how much it was, $800 or something, $3,000. Can you, cash that check and then forward that to them so they can get this furniture for that apartment? The check came FedEx. I looked at it. This was a while ago, but even then I like have, radar. It was going off. I was like, I don't think this is a real thing. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And they got very upset with me. The scammer got very, very upset. I just didn't cash their check. Probably should have forwarded it to like the cops or something. But they were very upset that that's what happened. Like, there's so many. Oh, they said that they were in England, and I have friends in England, so I like looked up their address. Everything seemed off about it. And my friends are like, yeah, that's not right. Nothing about what they're saying is correct. So I guess if you're going to scam people, you got to get your information like better. You got to have better information. Okay. So here we are. Let's think about what it is that you'd like to find yourself attracting to you. Right? Oops. That was my shoebox also falling off onto the ground. I guess this is just a day for things falling in here. There's lots of opportunity. Maybe someday I'll put shelves in here. Once this is in its permanent home, I'll put shelves in here so things, like I could put all my hypno books in here and I could display my shiny things better and I could have nothing fall. Anyway, okay, here we go. So think about what it is that you want to attract to you. Hot partners, job opportunities. Sure, why not? Opportunities to have more money. My floor is definitely attracting things. That's right. Opportunities for collaboration with people, perhaps. Opportunities for movement in your life in areas that you've been stuck. Opportunities for doing something creative. Opportunities for whatever it is that you'd like. Okay, so I'm gonna bring some shinies up to the focus, right? You find yourself thinking about what it is that you would like. And when you find yourself thinking about the things that you would like, do we want to do ring 1 or ring 2? It's like at the optometrist, right? Which one do you see more clearly? That one or this one? I always like this one. This one is my favorite. But I also like this one. This one's pretty good. So, ring 1, ring 2. I probably had them backwards. Is there a difference? Do you care? We'll just do this one. It's colorful. It's great. All right. So you find yourself thinking about what it is that you'd like to attract. And if you do not know what it is that you would like to attract, that's okay. Allow your unconscious mind to think about what that is. You don't need to think about what that is if you don't know. If you can't pick something, let your unconscious mind pick it for you. And allow yourself to look at the colors, allow yourself to notice the shiny and the facets, allow yourself to notice the change. Your unconscious mind can drop you deeply into trance. You can feel yourself surrender and give in to the colors, to the shine, to the facets, to the shapes, to the sound of my voice. You can feel how easy it is to notice that you can focus and slide away. To notice that you can surrender to the things that I say, that you can allow your unconscious mind to realize that it's such a good brain, that it is so wonderful, that it is so able, and it feels so good for you to drop or slide or surrender or to be yanked into a state of trance that feels so very good for you. So let your unconscious mind in that place just give in. Let your unconscious mind feel how important that is to just give in. Allow your unconscious mind to delight in how good it feels to be in trance, to be opening up your unconscious self to pay attention, to focus, and to make the changes that you're interested in making. For your brain to realize that as you find yourself thinking about, consciously or unconsciously, the changes that you would like to make, the things that you would like to pull into your orbit, the things that you would like to attract to you, the things that you would like to have in your life easily and powerfully, the things that you would like to have meaningfully there, allow your unconscious mind to think about what those things are. And as your unconscious mind thinks about what those things are, you can sink and drop down more powerfully and effortlessly into a state where your brain says, yes, I'm going to think about what those things are. I'm going to think about the ways in which I would like to be impacted by having those things in my life in the most positive of ways. I'm going to think about the risks that I think I may also be affected by, and my unconscious mind is going to find ways, going to think about ways to mitigate risk so that I can have things in my life that are useful, that are practical, that are exciting, that are fun, and to allow me to enjoy these things that I want to pull into my life, these things that I want to have attracted to me, that I want to attract in ways that are healthy, in ways that are useful, in ways that are fulfilling of the purposes that I have thought about for myself. And while you find yourself sinking deeper, as you find yourself giving in more, as you find your unconscious mind delighted to give in to being deeply and powerfully in trance, allow your unconscious mind right now to think about what it would feel like if you, all of a sudden, all the parts of you that were really, really intrigued by and interested in having the things that you want and having the things that you need and having the things that you think would enhance your life in your life begin to be attracted to you. Allow all the parts of you that can make that happen begin to become a little bit more magnet-like, as though I am speaking and the words that I'm speaking are going right to all the parts inside you and aligning themselves in powerful ways to cling together, to stick to each other, to support and reinforce your ideas about your own worthiness for all of these things, your own capability for handling all of these things, your own usefulness in being able to put these things in your life in ways that are ecological for you, and making sure that all the ways in which you want these things are going to be healthy and good for you, even if that means that you need to find yourself rearranging people or places or other things in your life. And as these words and your parts all stick together, you can notice that much like little magnets, that when you put these together and they begin to zip, 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 cling to one another, they feel very strong. They begin to feel stronger and stronger. As though your thoughts about why you want to do something, and my words about why you might want to do something, and the parts of you that are interested in ensuring that you do have these good things in your life, that you can attract these things, that you can have and handle these things in your life, begin to not just be disparate little parts inside you, but begin to coalesce into one big, powerful magnetic part of you. Maybe you can feel it. Maybe some of the things that I say resonate strongly with some of the things that you find yourself wanting, needing to believe about yourself, needing to think about the way that you want something or the way that you can have something. And the parts inside you that are all on board, that are saying, hell yes, let us make this happen, that are thinking about the risks and are thinking about the rewards and are thinking about all the steps that you might need to find yourself taking in order to make this happen, are already working to make this happen. These parts are all coming together, clinging together, becoming one solid piece inside you that is flexible and yet solid, that is capable and able to bend and to move in ways in which you will need in the future. And yet you find yourself noticing, much like our spines, that this is a support structure for you from within. And it can feel so very good to notice that because it is acting like a magnet and another strong spine-like support structure for you from the inside, it begins to pull the things that you want, the things that you need toward you. Whether these things are ideas, whether these things are people, this doesn't necessarily mean this is going to happen like magic, like a check showing up in your mailbox. It probably means that you find yourself doing things a little bit differently than you did before, whether or not you are aware of this. You might find yourself framing something a little bit differently or reaching out to people that you have never reached out to before. And you might discover that you find yourself saying things that more clearly illustrate what exactly it is that you want and the things that you are looking to do in order to achieve those things. Now, maybe those things talk about authentically connecting with people in your neighborhood through food or opening up a business or something along those lines. Or maybe those are ways in which you can find yourself thinking about how good it feels to serve. Maybe you can find yourself thinking about how good it feels to sell. Maybe you can find yourself thinking about how good it feels to make. Maybe you can find yourself thinking about how good it feels to do something different than you have done in the past. And allow your unconscious mind the delight of scanning through as many of these ideas as you can so that your brain finds itself being comfortably uncomfortable in the ideas that you find yourself putting out there, the ideas that you find yourself sharing, the people that you find yourself connecting with, the things that you find yourself doing. Notice that sometimes when you talk with somebody or you put an idea down on paper or it pops into your head, that sometimes you find yourself feeling something as though that new magnet inside you, that new core inside you is being strengthened, as though something has said, I really fit with what you already have going on inside you, and I'm going to cling even more powerfully. I'm going to help support the ideas that you have in your head. I'm going to find myself attracted to the part of you that I most firmly resonate with, and I'm going to help strengthen that idea. Those actions that you're taking, those thoughts that you're thinking, those steps that you're making, those plans that you are acting on, so that your brain feels how good it is to just move forward and make those happen. Feel the way that your unconscious mind and that idea about all those things inside you coming together, clinging together, supporting each other, supporting you through the things that you find yourself wanting to attract to you, begin to be stronger and more powerful. Begin to be those things that your unconscious self says yes to. Begin to be those things that your brain says, I want more of this. I'm going to seek out these things and I am going to bring them into me. I'm going to bring them into me in a way that allows me to feel so very good at making these things happen in my life. I'm going to do these things in a way that makes me feel like anything is possible because I have examined and evaluated what I need to do and how I need to do it. I have consulted with people. I have brought them into my world. I have looked at the risks, and I have evaluated the plans. I have made sure that I have thought about all the things that I need to, or I have brought in partners who are trustworthy and have other skills that I do not have to help bring these things to fruition. Let your brain think about how good that feels to know that the things that you want, you can find yourself having. The things that you want, you can find yourself being pulled toward you, that you can find yourself being pulled toward them, that you can find yourself experiencing that pull, that strength inside you to deal with the changes that come your way, to know that as they come your way, you can find yourself managing and mitigating the risks and the changes that come with them, and the interesting things that might happen as you make these changes and as you find yourself experiencing the delights that come with those things. Does this mean that you will never experience the fun of having a powerful check show up in your mailbox? Not necessarily. But just as you know, with any lottery winner, what's the first rule? You just keep your mouth shut about your good success. You just feel how good that is to keep working toward the thing that you want. You enjoy the things that you do, and you feel how nice that is to be able to give yourself over to what it is that you've attracted into your life and to do the most good for yourself that you can with it. So let yourself sink and drop down more powerfully and effortlessly, while all these colors allow your brain to realize that there are so many possibilities, even in something static, like a ring, that changes and shifts with the movement that I put into it, with the light that hits it, and you can discover that you too are a beautiful myriad object that can change and reflect all sorts of different ideas and values. And notice all the ways in which you can find yourself feeling very, very good right now while you think about what your possibilities are, while you think about how amazing it becomes for your brain to be in this place where the opportunities for you begin to flow to you, begin to be more visibly seen for you, begin to be more obvious for you, begin to be that type of thing that you find yourself open to and looking for instead of finding yourself closed off from and rejecting outright. Allow your unconscious mind to feel how powerful and easy it can be for you to be in that place where your unconscious mind sees possibility, thinks about opportunity, and wants more of that, and is able to make decisions about what can be right for you based on the way that all of you inside begins to feel when you find yourself evaluating opportunities that come your way, when you find yourself attracting something to you that allows your unconscious mind to realize that something special is in front of you. Will everything that you attract be special? No. But you will begin to recognize when those first real special things show up. And you can find yourself taking those opportunities and those ideas as something to be looked at a little bit more closely, as something to be examined for its true value, as to how it can fit into your life and how you can find yourself making the most of it. Let your unconscious mind hold on to those thoughts and those ideas. Feel how good those are. Feel how powerful it is for your unconscious mind to know that you have this core inside you now that serves you as strongly as it possibly can, allowing you to pull things to you that you really want or need, allowing you to evaluate how right these things are for you, and allowing you to make your own choices against risk and opportunity, allowing you to feel how good those things are for you, or knowing that you're going to wait for something else. You don't have to wait for a perfect opportunity. Life is not about perfect. It is about progress. It is about taking advantage of what you can act on, what you can find yourself working toward, and realizing that opportunity is all around us. And now that you find yourself with that core of waiting, of holding on, that core of magnetism inside you that is going to attract all sorts of things to you, feel how powerful it is to realize that this can simply help you act on your own behalf more effortlessly and easily than before. Allow your unconscious mind to think about how good it feels for you to be in that state, to be in that place where your unconscious mind simply says yes to the creation and the creativity that comes when you find yourself open to opportunities, when you find yourself open to new ideas, when you find yourself open to possibilities that are around you. Allow your unconscious self to think about looking in new places, associating with new people, finding yourself thinking about ways in which you can enhance and enrich your life with and without money. So find yourself holding on to those thoughts and those ideas. Allow that core to keep acting on your behalf. And on the count of 10, find yourself coming back all the way to full consciousness, feeling wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take a nice deep breath in. 8, move and stretch just a little bit. 9, open up your eyes. And 10, wide awake. And as you find yourself coming back, notice that core can strengthen anytime it needs to. Notice that it can help you anytime you need it to. And notice that it can be very, very helpful in allowing you to get what you really want. And as you find yourself coming back, being wide awake, feeling really good, just let me know that you're back. And allow yourself to feel very good about that. Yes, we can talk a little bit more about conflicts, which is to say, they need to be, your thoughts do need to be ecological for you. So, for example, there may be some choices that you have to find yourself making. And then you have to, if you make a choice, you have to see what the outcome is. Sometimes we have a lot of conflict because we just don't know. And we're afraid of what's going to come from that. So you have to make a choice and take an action, a little action. You don't go the whole 9 yards, right? You go a little ways and you see what happens. And you have to examine if that worked out for you. And if it does work out for you, then you can go a little bit further and see how that works out for you. And as long as things continue to work out for you, you go forward. You have to eliminate the conflicts as you go along with things. And you have to decide if your fear of the conflict is worse than what happens when you actually try to eliminate the conflict or make a choice to avoid the conflict. So, all right. Thank you all for being here. I will be here next week. I always appreciate you guys being around. And I should be here next week. I don't see any reason not to. I will not be here the week after that. Oh, next week is Mother's Day. I may pre-record something. I'm not sure yet. Something just fun and silly, because I probably will not be around for Mother's Day, and a lot of other people may not be here either. And the week after that, I will definitely not be here. That's the 18th. But I will... I will probably do something also pre-recorded for that. Okay, folks, thank you for being here. I would appreciate it if you would like and or subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for being here, and I will see you some other Sunday. Thanks. Bye.